Hello and welcome back to Too Many Books. My name is Sean, and today I'd like to talk to you about Stay on the Line, a short story novelette by Clay McLeod Chapman, illustrated by Trevor Henderson, and published by Shortwave Publishing. I'll go over more details about the publication itself once I'm done talking about the story. Now, first and foremost, I am very much a big fan of horror anthologies, like TV shows and movies. Think your Creepshow, Twilight Zone, Tales From the Crypt. And Stay on the Line is just the perfect Tales From the Crypt, Twilight Zone type episode. Like, it really sucked me in. Like, I could picture this in my mind, crystal clear, as an episode of one of those shows. I mean, perhaps it's a little too dark for the Twilight Zone, but not dark enough for the mature audiences of Tales from the Crypt. But damn if Clay McLeod Chapman did not deliver with this short story. Now, I live in Western New York, which means the biggest natural disasters to hit around here is a crap ton of snow. So I thankfully have never really lost any loved ones to natural disasters, but I imagine it has to be absolutely traumatic. And Stay on the Line is a grief horror short story about such tragedy. A small town is hit by a hurricane. 20 are dead, including the narrator's husband, father of the narrator's daughter. And the town is left mourning. One of the things in the town that surprisingly was untouched, unscathed by this hurricane is an old, out-of-service phone booth. You remember good old phone booths, right? Yeah, good old phone booth here, out of service, doesn't work, completely untouched by the hurricane. And the residents of the town, including the narrator herself, soon discover that this phone booth is now able to connect people to the ones that they love, the ones that they've lost. And it seems to have far-reaching effects beyond even those that were lost in the hurricane. And I don't want to get into any too more details without potentially spoiling the novelette, but man, it delivers. The entire short story is told from a first-person point of view, from almost like a confessional or a letter or a diary, written from the narrator to her deceased husband, the one that she loves. So you're going to get a lot of you being the reader, you being the dead husband, and man, it delivers on the grief, and you feel horrible for this town, and it's incredibly well done. I mean, I really can't say more. I mean, it's a short, I think 49 pages here, and those 49 pages include 5 illustrations and the blank page behind it so you don't have the image bleeding through. So really, you're looking at like a 39-page short story with small margin sizes. You can absolutely read this in a single sitting, and you should just read it for yourself. It is incredibly well done. I can definitely see why this was nominated for the Shirley Jackson Award for Best Novelette. Like I said, I would have considered it a short story. It's kind of too short to be a novella, but apparently novelette kind of falls between short story and novella. That's where it hits that sweet spot for the Shirley Jackson Awards. So it's up against some tough competition there. I know there's Eric LaRocca and a whole bunch of other big authors nominated for that award. But hey, even though this is the only one I've read of that category, if I was on the voting committee, I'd vote for you, Clay McLeod Chapman. Man, it's good. If you're a fan of grief horror, if you're a fan of those quick kind of anthology episodes, think your Black Mirror. Black Mirror is probably not a good comparison. That's more sci-fi. But you're more like Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Darkside, then Stay on the Line by Clay McLeod Chapman is definitely something you should check out. As I mentioned, it is published by Shortwave Publishing in, I think, all formats. There's an ebook version out there that you can get for just a few bucks. There's, of course, the paperback edition here. There's also, I believe, an audiobook edition. The paperback edition was pretty cool in that it came with, one is just nice little cardstock with the cover artwork here. The other one is a signed card. Designed by Alan, presumably Alan from Shortwave. The man has a clear vision for graphic design, signed by Clay McLeod Chapman and Trevor Henderson. I do have to criticize Trevor Henderson for having perhaps the single worst signature I've ever seen. I mean, wow. But, it's still very cool to have. Henderson's artwork, by the way, absolutely incredible. It reminds me of Stephen Gamel's artwork from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, you know, the Alvin Schwartz collections. Like, in particular, this one. See? That is haunting as hell. Or this one. Creepy as hell. Like, it works so well. Admittedly, I think some of the artwork is kind of out of place in the paperback version. I don't know if it's just my particular copy or just the way the formatting is. This body, for example, is one that's found a page or two later. But, I mean, it's not really a spoiler appearing so early because it's something you can definitely see coming. It's just a little out of place. But, you know, I can't criticize it too much because the artwork does stick with you. Holy crap. So yeah, that, my friends, is Stay on the Line by Clay McLeod Chapman, illustrated by Trevor Henderson, published by Shortwave Publishing, and nominated for the Shirley Jackson Award for Best Novelette. We'll see, fingers crossed, to McLeod Chapman, fingers crossed that he might win, and we will see. Seriously, it's very affordable, very cheap. I highly recommend checking it out. I know I have at least one other novel by Clay McLeod Chapman, and one that I pre-ordered from Thunderstorm Books that I'm very excited diving into, because this, I think, was the first McLeod Chapman that I've actually read. And man, you had me hook, line, and sinker. I actually went out and I actually ordered a couple more chapbooks from Shortwave. One of these wasn't available on the app I was using, so I don't know if it's sold out. I think it was Mama Bird, but I believe I ordered the other two. And they should both be coming very soon, and I'm excited to dive into those. But seriously, check out Stay on the Line by Clay McLeod Chapman. It is one hell of a read, especially if you are a fan of Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Darkside, and all those anthologies that get under your skin. Please consider subscribing to my channel here. I do at least one book review a week with plenty of unboxing videos between here and there. I will unbox, for example, those future McLeod Chapman books, Chapman chapbooks that should be arriving in the next week or so. But anyways, check it out. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you around next time.